Hello, beautiful people. It is Sunday, December 10th, 2023. I'm in Shangmai, and this is the first time I've made a video entry. I think not yesterday, not the day before, but the day before that was the last time. Yes, this is the first time I've really talked to anybody today, so yeah, sorry if I come off as still a little sleepy and talking right now. I realize that my lip is a little bit swollen. I had greasy food last night. I came back home and I didn't want to go out riding. Still a little bit unfamiliar with like the Chiang Mai area and how it is people drive around here, so I was a little bit reluctant to go out again after I'd brought the motorbike back. I just kind of wanted to stay home. So I ordered some food, and it was the greasiest food ever. And the guy asked for cash. I think I've used Grab one other time. The guy asked for cash, so I gave him cash. And then I also got charged on my card, which we're talking about like $8. So instead of $8, I paid like $16. No, not even. Instead of, I think it's close to $5 or $6. Yeah, it was 300. Paid him 300 baht, and then my card got charged 252 baht. I tipped him too. I tipped him, man. And I reached out to him, and he I think he definitely did it on purpose. But anyway, this is besides the point. I ate this greasy food last night, and I washed my hands and face. Sometimes I feel a little bit like a fool because I very much should have washed my hands with soap before I started to wash my face. I just told myself that as long as I washed it with hot water, it would come off because it was grease. But and I think I ended up washing my face and rubbing more and more grease in. So I broke out so bad this morning. It seems to already be like quickly fixing itself, thankfully. Also, I had like a watermelon and rubbing my face with fruit. Because if I just wash my face over and over again, my face is just going to get dried out. And then this grease that's within my pores now will only become worse because it's so dry. Anyway, I think that I might be rambling. But this morning I had like a pimple right under my lip, but it was very much like under the skin, and then I ended up like looking in the mirror and like rolling my lip over my teeth like this, and I pushed hard enough like this to where it popped itself, and then I think I spent a little bit more time pushing against my lip against my teeth. And I guess that made my lip a little bit swollen, which I hadn't noticed until beginning to talk right now, that my lip is a little swollen. Yeah. It is really, really beautiful here. The area of Chiang Mai, it's very, very spread out. Like, something that I realized after leaving Phuket is how concentrated everything is within Phuket. There's still a lot of stuff here too, but like everything in Phuket it's like you could drive across all of Phuket in an hour, as opposed to me being able to drive really fast, like 30 minutes to the city. If I was driving as fast as I could drive in Phuket, it'd be probably about like 40 minutes. So I can drive the equivalent of 40 minutes in Phuket. So 2/3 of the island, and I only just simply get to the city. but there's still so much in between then, like here and there, um, as opposed to everything being very concentrated and very close together. Yeah, but I mean, there definitely are quiet places in Phuket, which is it's pretty nice. This place is really quiet, and also it is really, really open. I don't know if you can tell about this place that I'm in. So there's a door here, there's a door there. You can also see there's a door here. Hold on, let me see if I can. There's a door along this wall here too, so you can see this door. It goes into the room, and then you see out that other door. Yeah, and then there's like tons of very small doors that all line the back wall. So I have all of those open too. Um, Being able to walk from my bed right here, just directly outside. There is a mosquito net too within along the bed. So last night I ended up there's not an aircon here, so there's zero reason to keep everything shut. When the breeze comes through, it actually cools down a little bit more than if I were to just leave everything shut. And also hearing all of the sounds come through. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy though, because this is right next to like a main road that leads into Chiang Mai, and yeah, it's like there's so many people, but it's so big out here that there's not a lot of people that pass by this by like along one of these main roads. And if they do, it's not like it's so infrequent that it's pretty rare you'll hear a car that's loud enough for you to actually hear. What sent me on that train of thought was because I heard a loud motorcycle. I don't like being able to see the camera, because I end up focusing a little bit more on the visuals of what it is you're actually seeing, and focusing on how it is I'm being perceived too, as opposed to just kind of letting my eyes see what they see and letting my tongue speak as it will. Yeah. But yeah, it feels really, really nice. Yesterday, while on the plane, and the day before, oh wait, actually, it has been not yesterday, not the day before. Yeah, but the day before that. So that's how long it's been since I made an entry. And 2 days ago, I did a visa run to Malaysia, and oh my goodness, it was definitely something. I was on a bus I was in a van. A van's very different than a bus. I was in a van for about 15 hours, going all the way from Phuket to the border of Malaysia, and then all the way back in one day. And it actually gave me a lot of time to just think. Something I realized too while I was within the van was, I couldn't really do like that much work. And the work that I could do, it'd be incredibly inconvenient to try to do, because like the work that I could do would be just writing on paper, like self-development stuff or just self-reflection. I guess I could have taken my laptop out and typed too, but I didn't want to look at a screen in the car for hours. That just whatever. So I ended up just accepting that I really I couldn't properly do any work. So I accepted that idea, and suddenly it was as if like I wasn't holding a certain amount of weight, and I was free to do whatever it is I ended up doing, which it's nice. I talked about the Tao about maybe 3 entries ago, and what I had been experiencing at that time was a feeling of making time to give myself the opportunity to if I found myself there, like experiencing the Tao. And yeah, something that day made me realize was I constantly hold this weight of seeing proof of progression, knowing that I can do work today, knowing that there is work that is to be done in so many different fields. It seems like, of course, it is a burden, but I didn't realize how much weight it actually, how much weight I actually held in relation to that subject. So, yeah, it was seriously incredibly nice, and I'm really glad I had that day too, because it has given me a good perspective of how it is I should treat this time here. And, last night, I think that if I hadn't found a certain way that I wanted to go about still doing some work, I would have had trouble with it, because I can understand this idea and how pleasurable it is, but also there's very much still a part of me that it's like, yeah, if I would have finished that visa run in the day after, so yesterday, would have had a completely free day to do as I pleased, as opposed to, packing everything else up, tying everything else up there, and then getting on an airplane and flying here to Shangmai, and then focusing on getting a motorbike. If I hadn't had that, and I just had another day back in Phuket, I think that I would have honestly flipped back to what it is I do every single day, that same pattern, because it is how I pursue finding gratification, and it's the system that I have in place in order to attempt to balance, like heaven and earth, or like the real world and the like nirvana that I can experience. So last night I was listening to a piece from Alan Watts, and he spoke on this idea, and actually last night's a little bit fuzzy. I can't remember specifically. I was actually quite tired. It had been a long day. No, it was not last night, but it was while I could be wrong about this, but I think it was while I was still within the airplane. Thankfully, I had I had the whole row to myself, 3 seats. My seat was on the window, but I had the whole row anyway, so I ended up like looking out the window when I felt like I want to, and then laying down and yeah, just enjoying myself. It was not a bad flight at all. This idea had to do with time and being essentially like I think the title of it was like, did we invent time? And Alan speaks on like time in relation to how we treat it, how it affects us, or at least how we let it affect us, how some grapple with time while others simply don't even think about it very much. it led me to think about, okay, how can I still do things that I want to do to get to certain places I want to be, to do this work here on Earth while not letting it run my life. Not letting, because I think it made me immediately reflect on my time boxes and how I think that I have shown this before, the way my time boxes look. So hopefully this will be close enough. I think you can zoom in on YouTube these days, so whatever, that will be good enough. So there's all the hours here on like this side, and then it's like a schedule going to whatever. It's a schedule, and it's like each task is supposed to take a certain amount of time, and yeah. So I have like I build these parameters of what time is, and of course I think that we abide by the sun rising and setting, but the time in between can fluctuate. It's like sometimes it can last so long, and then other times it feels like the day is flying by. And I feel like when I'm staring at the clock, making sure I'm keeping up with each individual task, the day feels like it flies by. Sometimes. It's very dependent on the day. But I wanted to figure out how I could still think of things that I wanted to do and work on, and end up still doing them, while also not finding myself immensely pressured to finish them by certain times, or to spend a certain amount of time on them, or whatever it may be. So all I've done this morning is just wrote down things on my small whiteboard here. I just wrote like 8 8 numbers and wrote down a few things that I wanted to make sure that I did. And this isn't even everything that I felt like doing, but simply what I've written down already. The first thing that I had thought of was that I need to do my laundry today. And that made me think of the fact that I needed to do a few things today in terms of my own personal upkeep. And that reminded me of this idea of, okay, well, how do I want to go about doing this? Because I have this time where I'm not in Phuket, but I'm in a different world, and I have a different environment. How is it that I want to hold myself? What is it I want to hold myself to while I'm here? I don't have to keep myself in the same conditions. I never do, but also when you get used to an environment and you get used to a pattern, it's very easy to, let that pattern steer you in the same direction each day. So yes, I wrote down laundry first, and then I knew that I needed to ask the host that's next door for some utensils. Last night I ordered that food, and it came in like plastic bags with rubber bands holding it closed, and it didn't have like any utensils. It was literally just like 3 bags. And I ended up using, because it was so late I did not want to bother her, I ended up using like one of these, one of my small rulers that I use for like drawing and measuring, as like somewhat of a spoon. And I was going like, and I had a plate and I had a cup. So I put some of like the porridge in the cup, and I literally just like sipped it out of the cup. And I put like the noodles and chicken on a plate, and I just scooped it up like this. And yeah, so greasy. Yeah, so I needed to get utensils. And I wanted to pick up some fruit. and I wanted to go to. I wrote down those three things, and I was doing something. I wasn't sure. Oh, I was cleaning up the dishes that I used last night, including this this measuring one. It was still greasy, and yeah, the host came by and had brought me tea and fruit, which was so nice, and and then I told her about the utensils, and she brought some utensils by. So it was funny. I wrote these two things down, and within a few minutes, I was finding myself able to feel like it true to like cross them off. Even though I know that I would like to pick up more fruit, it felt very nice to know that I had this urge for fruit. I knew that my body should have some fruit. So I wrote it down, and moments later, like, it simply is like, yeah, this wish is fulfilled. Um, I think it's really, really nice to be able to set goals in mind and have life sometimes just simply make it so easy to feel achieved. Yes. I wrote down uh, a sauna, a spa that I want to go to. One of the reasons I got this place was so I was close to it. I wanted to read some more, and I wanted to extend my stay here. Tomorrow I'm supposed to leave, but I know that I can stay longer if I'd like. Um, and I honestly think that I don't think that I need to worry that much about going somewhere else and seeing something more, because I think that everything that I will be led to experience here will be more than enough. So I don't think that I need to find myself moving somewhere else to experience a little bit more before my mother arrives here. I will leave when my mother arrives because she has booked something for the both of us, and yeah, as much as I think that I will miss this peace because I think that we will be within the city for only about two nights. I think that it will be yeah, you can't see those beautiful birds. I think that it is a good decision to stay here for the next few days and not really worry about where it is I'm going to do next or packing up everything. And yeah, but being out here and treating my day like this, how I'm treating it, very much makes me want to. Like, I found myself contemplating my work and what it is I'm building for myself. Thinking about how much time it is I'm spending on certain things that I don't know if I take that much pleasure in. I found myself contemplating if, like, working for clients and starting this digital marketing agency was really for me, and if it really was something that I wanted to keep building, and I would contemplate the pros and cons, the things that I enjoy about it, and the things that I am still questioning. Because I don't want to. I think you really have to find a balance between, like, trying things out, not quitting, but also making sure that you're building a future that you don't feel the need to take vacations away from. Like, if you end up finding work that you enjoy so much that it's like, when you're working, it still feels very much like you're just simply living. It's not deep, in-depth work, but like the upkeep you know that you must do and that you enjoy doing. So I asked myself this a couple of times, and then I told myself, okay, like, is there ever going to be a thing that feels like, not necessarily like effortless, but consistently feels like the right thing that I should be doing, instead of me finding myself questioning what it is I'm doing, if it is what I should be doing. Will I truly find a thing like that, at least sometime soon, that I feel so confident in I don't even find myself questioning it very much? I think about that. So then I think about because I think the first thing that will pop up when you think about letting something go is the fear of what life will be like without it. The implications and effects of the lack of this thing. How much does it define you? How much is it a part of your character? So who will you be once you let this thing go? The amount of times I'll be trying to get something out of my teeth and I think about Jake talking about how I got it out. He's very true. How like a part of life is like suffering and like consistently working for something instead of having like immediate gratification. I absolutely love that. I adored that show when I was younger, and I still find myself watching it now. Yeah, so I'm immediately filled with like feeling reluctant and feeling fearful, and then also like because I've attached work to my own character so much, when I begin to question the work and the fulfillment of it, the validity of it, my future with it, I find myself immediately begin to feel closed off because I'm questioning like the nitty gritty inner workings of myself and my fulfillment. And it is very easy to feel like reluctant and kind of touchy, let's not screw up what we have here, right? So contemplating this idea of, is this for me? I find myself quickly deciding to settle on the idea of, first I'd ask this question: how much time have I spent on this thing? Okay, I've only spent this much time, so that's not that much time. How much time am I willing to spend on this until I ask these same questions of myself? So 2 months of time, 2 more months. So let's say I've been doing it for 3 months now. I ask myself this same question: how long have I been doing this? Okay, 3 months. That's definitely not a short amount of time. How do I feel about it? How is my progression within it? And I settled on this idea, which, yes, I think that at this point, and I wish I knew the exact number, but it is coming up on 2 months. I think that I have been in Phuket, and really, I mean, it's definitely been 2 months of focusing on the agency, undoubtedly. So I think that it is worth contemplating, like, how easy has it been? How natural has it felt? What have I achieved so far? I'm so, like, nervous from last night about the grease. Like, yeah, I'm finding myself, like, contemplating how much grease is on me. If I could find something to do that I could do here, in a place like this, I don't have to worry about going out and doing something. So, for example, taking photos for the media for, let's say, one of the client's socials. Then I could essentially write something down like this on this sheet, really simple things. And when I found it within my mind, this thing, it's at the subject, the forefront of my mind, and I find myself there, not only just there, but also I find myself given the energy and the power to do this thing, take action within this thing. I can do it like this immediately, as opposed to knowing that I will need to go somewhere. Yeah, I think that there's been a lot of time where I've spent like looking at what it is I'm doing as like something that I don't necessarily want to do that much. Like focusing on how much time am I going to expend on this thing before I give myself time to do what it is I actually want to do. Or do something not necessarily that I want to do, because there's very many moments where I want to do the work, but something that I take pleasure in doing. So there's times where I don't want to do the work and it is not very pleasurable. So then I find myself waiting until I can either not do something that I know is deliberately unpleasurable, but do something that is very up in the air and open for my mind's interpretation. I think when I give myself time to just sit around and do very much as I please, do things as they come, I'm able to do things that feel so right. And if I was able to achieve this same feeling, or not even necessarily achieve it, but find myself there, I think that entering a period of time like this, I would find myself in the flow state so often. Today feels like yeah, that's a great way to put it. I wonder if, I wonder if I'll catch that while reflecting on this video. Yeah, and if I could find a way to do this and also continually practice an action that makes this sustainable, this is exactly what I need to do. But yeah, I remember wanting to find myself in a place to be able to spiritually grow. I remember thinking back to certain states that I wanted to achieve and practice back when I was in California, but telling myself, okay, first I need to achieve financial freedom, so then I can give myself the environment and position myself to be able to naturally flow in and out of like these conscious states, and then I'll do it. Then I'll take the time to focus on and pick apart this feeling in my head, pick apart how I hold myself every day, the way I wake up and the way I fall asleep. Yeah, and it's funny because there's been times where I very much felt like I was there in those places. It's not about the environment, but the person you are when you're there, which is why it can come and go in the same exact place. But this is not to say that the place is not a variable, because I think if I was given a busy street corner and it is written that I am to be here, and this is the only place that I may wake up and fall asleep in, I think that understanding this is what this is where I am, this is what is written, and I am set to stay here, I would find myself in the position of knowing this is all I have, so I must accept it and begin to work and become more in flow with it. But knowing that, I think, for example, back in California, what it was I did was I told myself, okay, let's not focus on this thing, and let's focus on getting myself somewhere where I can focus on this thing. So the thing is, I'm not in the position of it truly being written and being like placed somewhere, and that is where I am to a certain degree. The world feels very big. I am in a position of being able to move around as I please. So, knowing that, choosing a certain place and deciding, okay, this is where I am, it is written I am here, and now I must learn to become in tune with this place and find the flow that I want to sustain myself within. I think that I've ended up like finding dissatisfaction with a lot of the places because I knew that I could go somewhere different, or I could pursue the idea of a different feeling. In the back of my mind, every time I do this, though, it is very clear as of like, yes, but it is very dependent on the man, not the place in which the man is. Because the man can be the same in one place as he is in another. And if the man is looking to find himself feeling different, and he pursues this in a change of atmosphere, he will continually find himself feeling the exact same in different places all over the world. So then I think, okay, well, should I pick a busy street corner then? Or should I pick a place like this? And I think it is obvious that my mind absolutely loves this more than a street corner. So maybe then I must simply just pick a place like this and accept that it is written, and then understand that I must. It is hard too, because I think as soon as things are written, as soon as things feel written, it is as if it is something completely different than if it is still up in the air. Because something that talking about all of this has made me reflect on is, like, I know that it's not written that I'm here, right? In this moment I am, for the next 4 nights I am, but I know that I will go back to Phuket on the 20th, and sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. And yes, I will be back in Phuket, and I won't be here. So this environment is only momentary for 5 days. So if I were to accept the idea fully that it is written and I am here, how is it that I would actually feel about it? Would that feeling change? Where would my motivations, how would my motivations change and my perspective of this place? Because that is something that seems to be very important in the past. Like, how do I feel about where I am? It's crazy how fast time can pass. But yeah, I mean, I think I've practiced becoming content with knowing that the work will take a long time. And to build this reality that it is I want to experience, it will take time. So I've been able to accept this idea more and more, especially since coming here to Thailand. And I've become more comfortable with the idea of it taking years of work, it not being, I'm not finding myself there within a few months, but within years from now. Because before, I think I had this perspective that, okay, I have this idea and I want to pursue it and I want to see it achieved now or soon, because I am that person, I am that man, I can do it that fast. And breaking out of that idea in terms of work has helped me, I think, break out of that idea in the terms of this experience itself. How it is I am as a human, as a man, how I hold myself every day, consistently, how good I get at consistently holding myself that way. I think that what I work for is to have moments to do so. If I find myself working and then ceasing from the work and finding myself still working in the back of my mind, I don't think that is where I should be. I don't think that is where I should be. So if I can find myself in a state where I know that I must do the upkeep and do the work And then when I release myself from that responsibility, I truly feel released. If I can find myself there, and I can find myself here, then I think I am doing exactly what it is I wished that I was doing. And I think there's a few variables that go into actually achieving this idea, which a few of them, they're a little bit like wu-wei, like I cannot attempt to force myself there, which is, it always feels very paradoxical, like, okay, well, when some of these things are like wu-wei, then how is it that I'm supposed to do them? Because they cannot be done. They simply are. So balancing these things that must be done and like the wu-wei things, it feels very paradoxical, and I feel sometimes quite confused what it is I should do. But I do know the variables that I can do, which is finding something sustainable that makes this sustainable, and also finding an environment that I truly adore being within, and within this moment. It doesn't need to constantly be the same, and it doesn't need to constantly fluctuate either. But yes, thinking about this new idea of life, I find myself clinging to the old one, the variables within the old one, and how I could hold on to some of those things. But yeah, so where I find my mind gravitating towards is very much still wanting to spend time working on the agency, because there are a few things. For one, I have this gig. I don't even remotely feel like ceasing my efforts on it. And also, I think the things that I will learn from it will help me achieve other goals that are connected to it for myself. So I want to learn those things, and being able to know that it is not only my work but also my personal work for myself, that feels good, and that is one of the main reasons why I continue to find myself working towards it. But also, I think that I want to spend some time doing something that I can pretty much tap into and focus on doing at any point where it finds itself within me and I do it. Which I know one thing that has always stuck out to me as very interesting, which is cryptocurrency, and understanding more about the future of it and the development of the blockchain. So focusing on these two things could be something that ends up building that variable that is the sustainability. The complex idea is, though, I have, how is it that I will provide to clients if I'm not there? And really, I need to think about, okay, what is it that I do when I'm there? What is it I need to be there for? I think it feels nice to be there because I'm there at the business. I get a little bit better of the idea. I'm able to talk to actual faces. I'm able to see the food and take photos. But also, I have to think about what does that come with? Because everything has a price. And when I do that, there's a certain stress that comes along with, I know that I want to take photos, and I know that it takes time, so let me be there for 3 hours and only waiting to take photos, and that is what I will do. That is a goal for today. So then I think about, taking this time away and putting myself somewhere that is not necessarily bad, but my God, I just absolutely love being here. I think I'd adore sitting around like this a little bit more instead of doing something like that in a loud scene with a loud band of playing nice songs that I know because they're English songs. But, I end up finding myself enjoying this so much more. So that's a variable that I need. I need photos to be taken. I need to be able to understand and feel the business. So, understanding and feeling the business, certain aspects can be done from a distance, but also other aspects must be done there. So, I either must understand how to do it without being there physically, or I must be there physically, which, saying this out loud makes me realize, thinking about having clients in the US, if I had clients in the US but I lived here, I'm thinking about how it is there and back about $150 to get from here back to Phuket and then back here. So if I had clients in the US, which is ultimately a goal that I want to achieve, then I would have to, if I was playing by these same rules that I'm playing by right now, I would have to go back and see and be within the business. So I think that it is crucial that I understand how to be able to do these things without physically being there at the business. The camera work can be done by someone else, undoubtedly. I got this new pen, and I think it's a gel pen. I could be wrong. I'm not like a pen fanatic, so I can't tell the difference that well, actually, other than like how it feels. I definitely think it's a gel pen because I'm not sure. Like the ink flows so smoothly, and it can also like clump up, which I think that means it's gel. But yeah, I have the opportunity to, I think, go into business with this lovely Thai girl that is also incredibly interested in digital marketing. She lives in Phuket too, so I'm thinking that maybe I can figure out how to, like, let's say I had clients in Phuket and I needed photographs done for multiple different clients. Managing that while not actually being there would show to have its own issues, so having somebody there, not only somebody there, but somebody that I trust enough to start this business with, I think that could be so beneficial. And I think that honestly it would be crucial to have somebody there, somebody on the ground next to these clients, to be able to, so they actually have a face to see. So I know that I definitely, undoubtedly want to talk to, and I'm forgetting her damn name, which that frustrates me. I need to figure out that girl's name and remember it. But yes, I think that this idea that I want is not a bad idea to pursue. I think that, I think sometimes mosquitoes. Okay, don't go on a tangent. I think that this idea can be achieved. And I think that there are so many fears that come along with it that I just must face. I want to do something that allows me to move around, not feel locked down somewhere. And taking on this client in Rawai, I have found myself feeling locked down and thinking that I cannot move. I need to stay here for this reason, this reason, this reason, because of these fears that come along with not being here and what it implies in terms of the work. Yeah, a lot of things to think about. One of my favorite things that I have been doing lately, and you will be able to see it, I'm sure you've noticed it by now, the chapters along here, and then also within the description, kind of a description of what it is I even talk about. Now, for the longer videos, it seems to actually be a little bit of a challenge to get the point on the T1 a description that goes all the way through to the end, especially with the way that I end up articulating myself as of right now. I end up covering a lot of different subjects and jumping in between things, sometimes quite quickly, jumping in and out of a certain subject because I'm finding myself talking about different things as I'm speaking. So I've been throwing it into GPT, the entire transcript, and asking it to give me a summary of what the speaker is saying, and then also give me chapters that go across the entire video. I think each time about 7 chapters. And GPT sometimes has a little bit of trouble. It does a great job, but one issue it seems to keep facing, which I think I just need to nail down the prompt, is it seems to feel as if it has a cap of what it is it should say, how much text it should output, and then it starts outputting the text, and it's finding itself covering the video chronologically, it's going through it linearly. And now it's getting to the point where it's like this is all this text is getting too long. So then it sums it up. It finishes the prompt. It finishes answering the prompt, but it has only covered about depending on how long the video is, a certain portion of the video, not the whole thing. And I just need to play around with it more to figure out how to get it down correctly. But so until I get it down correctly, there may be these slightly off ones, but yes, I enjoy doing it so much. The first time that I had done it was I took everything, the entire transcript from talking about Zen and the Tao a few days ago, and because I wanted to see if my ideas were not incredibly abstract, but a little bit more clear when perceived by GPT and the AI. Something that I have been reflecting on a lot more is people using AI to pick apart some of these videos and understand some of the things I'm talking about. Especially if, let's say down the road, I get to the point and AI is at the point where I can take a portion of this time. I want to tell a story of this portion of my life. So I take all of these video logs and I take everything that I say within them, and I'm able to visualize this incredibly quickly through the AI, and then also Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm thinking about watching this dust come up as this car is driving by. I lost my train of thought. I want to be a speaker, and I think that I already very much am a speaker. I spend a lot of time speaking, even when I'm by myself and also when I'm with others. I want to practice being able to speak to everyone. Sometimes it takes work to be able to understand what it is I'm saying, and I want it to be easy for people to listen to things I want to say. This is not a reality yet. I think I'm getting closer to it. I also don't want to stress about how it is I'm articulating myself that much, because then I'm taking away from my actual focus of what it is I'm trying to do, which is simply just put my thoughts into words and demonstrate what it is I'm experiencing and feeling in this moment. So having the opportunity to be able to take everything that I've said and throw it into something that is vastly more intelligent than even me, it's able to perceive it and then put it into a frame that is easily interpretable and easy to understand. Yeah, that it excites me so much. I find it so exciting. Because even watching some of these back, I mean, I'm talking my own thoughts. Sometimes, though, looking back on some of these, it is like, wow, even certain parts of my mind are having trouble perceiving what it is, the point I'm trying to get across, what it is I'm saying. And I'm the one saying it. So being able to use the AI and then see pretty vividly, pretty straightforwardly, what it is I've actually said, it's really refreshing. It also restores some confidence in what it is I'm doing, which is simply just speaking, because sometimes I feel anxious about how much of this is interpretable. How much can somebody actually watch this and understand what it is I'm talking about? Yeah, so having that anxiety sometimes, especially even when I'm talking to somebody right next to me, it leads me to feel less confident about it. And seeing the way that GPT is able to interpret it and put it into much more clear words, it very much restores a lot of confidence in this idea that I love pursuing, which is simply just speaking. I've been speaking for probably more than an hour at this point. Only over by 3 minutes. But yes, I think that I will continue the day like this. Continue visualizing my ideas more for the work and the sustainability. And oh, I just adore this place. I hope you enjoyed today if you were live today on the 10th of December, 2023. It is 12 p.m. on the dot. I'll talk to you all soon. Goodbye.